Today I'm going to be tackling a common question that I get, and this is going to be like a chat, so grab your tea or your coffee, and I'm going to be tackling, how do I do it all? That's the question I get. How do you be a mom to 5 children and homeschool and be a wife and have a flower farm and have an online content creation and make your family food and do laundry and sleep and have sanity, I suppose, or have a life that you enjoy living? So I'm going to try and talk through some of those things, which is kind of difficult and kind of like we're just going to be having a chat. If you don't know me, I'm Ruth Ann from Abundant Blooms Flower Farm in Dorr, Michigan, where I farm and work with my husband and our 5 children. My husband also has a full-time off-farm job. We have about an acre in production. Didn't start that way, but that's what we have now. We do life together, my husband, my children, and I, and we farm and do a lot of different things. And we got goats this last winter. And I also provide educational resources to flower farmers through my online course and through my new membership that's going to be coming out really soon. Join the wait list in the description below, and through my YouTube videos. So we're just going to kind of chat about this. I don't really know how else to do this kind of a video, but spoiler alert, this is, how do I do it all? I don't do it all. And of course, like, what does that even mean? Like, how do you do it all? Here's what I don't do. So let me tell you a few things that I don't do. I first of all have quite a bit of help, and this has obviously increased over the years. But for example, I homeschool my kids, which takes a lot of my time, but it is also seasonal. I don't, full-time homeschool my children in the summer, which is when most of the major labor of the farm work happens. But even with that, I have a girl that comes every Wednesday and helps me all morning for several hours. My mom often comes once a week and helps me just even with having children read to her, which is obviously a big part of homeschooling. My children are between the ages of 2 and 10. So, they're not super independent, really. I mean, we've seen some gains in that this year, but 9 and 10-year-olds still need a lot of help with homeschooling. And then I have a first grader, a 7-year-old, and like, he's definitely learning how to read. And, it's a lot of hands-on, one-on-one kind of teachings. But I have help with that. When this girl comes on Wednesday, like, we work together and we both homeschool together. She's very capable. She also gives them a piano lesson and different things, right? So that's just one example. And my mother comes, and then another day I have another girl come. I was just sort of like, look, I can't do it. What can I do to help me be able to create content online and, go through my course and create a webinar and create an online membership and send out emails and crop plan and all the things that I need to do. So I hired a girl to come on Fridays for 4 hours, and she is also a homeschool graduate and has capability of helping. So I'm not just like gone and have someone watching the kids. She's moving the ship forward. She is feeding them and cleaning up lunch, and she's listening to every one of them read phonics in addition to, watching the kids. So I have help. In the summer, I don't know exactly how the summer will look. In the last couple years, I've had someone come babysit on Tuesdays for like 7 hours while I deliver flowers for multiple reasons. One is because it's just too hard to take 5 kids with me delivering flowers now. I used to take them when I only had 3 or 4 and I had less deliveries, and now I have a lot more deliveries and it takes a long time, and the kids and the flowers actually don't fit in the Suburban anymore because there's more kids and more flowers and they just don't fit together. So I definitely have, significant hours of help on the farm in season. So those are just some really specific examples of things that I do to bring in outside help. I do a lot of other things, like I don't have a housekeeper or a house cleaner, and I do pretty much make all of our meals from scratch, including all of our own bread. But just an example of the bread, like I have a top of the line bread machine that I've had for 7 years. And so I started making bread for our family before I started flower farming. And so it's just a rhythm of life. It's just part of what we do. It takes me about 4 minutes to make a 2-pound big loaf of bread in my bread machine. And I hit 3 buttons and I never have to come back to it. Just when it's done, it's done. I don't even have to go turn the oven off or take it out of the oven, right? So I have some systems in place that make something like making my own bread for our family easy. There are certain things that I would make more in-depth meals for, per se, like in the winter and in the summer. Yes, I do cook for my family every night, but it is fast and easy, and tacos and steaks on the grill and, scrambled eggs for dinner. We usually eat once a week. And, we just have a very simple food, simple meal plan. And we eat a lot of the same things on like a pretty much like a weekly rotation. So I am not trying new recipes and, really putting a lot of work into, creating beautiful meals. That's one thing I don't do. I don't spend a lot of time creating all kinds of fancy meals. The other thing that people don't see is my husband helps a lot. My husband helps a lot on the farm. My husband helps a lot with our kids. Like, it's Saturday afternoon right now, and my husband knows I'm filming, and he's helping me by giving me this space and watching the kids and keeping the baby inside. And right, like, we're working together. He's also like, what can I do to help? He's going to help me lay drip line, and he flips beds, and he moves compost. He transplants almost all of our sunflowers with our paper pot transplanter now. He is very involved in the farm as well. And so this is not a single effort. This is a group effort. We talk and communicate a lot about how the farm is working and what needs to be done on the farm. And he is very hands-on when he's here. Like I said, he does have a full-time job, so he's not always here all day. He does also have a full-time off-farm job. For now, anyway. We'll see if that'll change in the future. And then Saturdays are big work days, and we work together. And in the summer, I often harvest a lot on Saturday morning and get it in the cooler. And so he's home, and we're able to kind of tag team the kids and work through that as well. Also, I did want to say, I chatted with Alex from Coram Deo Flower Farm about kind of like kids and raising kids in flower farming. I chatted with her over on her YouTube channel about a year ago. So if you want to check that conversation out, you can check that one out. Kind of like, we'll talk a little bit more about farming with children specifically. And I'll put a link to that in the description. Another thing is that while, yes, I have 5 children now, I didn't start farming with 5 children. And while I do have an acre in production now, I didn't start farming with an acre in production. So I started when I had 3 kids, and I had like a 50 by 65 foot area of cultivated space, right? Like, this is what the farm looks like now. This is not what it looked like 7 years ago when I started. Like, that's why I'm still here, is because I grew slowly and intentionally and specifically, and I didn't start off trying to grow an acre of flowers. Also, I didn't start off being a content creator, right? Like, I didn't start off making YouTube videos. I am not researching how to grow like a whole farm's worth of flowers now, because I know how to do it. I have 7 years of experience. I don't need to research how to grow zinnias. I know exactly how to grow zinnia. I have a really phenomenal system for growing sunflowers. Like, I don't put thought into that. I know exactly how many seeds I need to order. Like, it takes seconds compared to, 7-8 years ago. I had no idea how to grow that stuff, right? So I put a lot of energy and effort into researching and educating myself on that. And now I don't do that, right? Now I have a new high tunnel. Like, this is only my 2nd season. So yeah, I've put a lot of effort and research into focusing on this, or at least especially last year, right? So there's new things to research. The same thing, like, I started a YouTube channel. Okay, how do you do that? How do you film? I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I researched how to do that in the off season, I might say. That's how I did that. And the other thing is, I try to streamline as much as possible. So I streamlined my crops. I streamlined my sales channel. It was the summer that I was pregnant with my 5th child that I cut pretty much everything off my plate. I didn't grow one single new flower. I totally didn't grow dahlias because I was annoyed with them, and I didn't want to dig them in the fall. Because I was due in November. I only sold to florists. I didn't even contemplate doing any other pop-up, nothing. I just was like, I am only selling to florists. And that really was a pivot in my business that really helped me and kept me focused. And then I was able to grow from there. And that was a really great decision. And that was kind of a forced, like, I've never been so exhausted in my entire life as when I, farmed the entire year pregnant with my 5th baby. And obviously I wasn't as young as I used to be. Trying to remember, how old was I? I was 36 years old, right? Like, I was 36 years old, pregnant with my 5th child. I was just utterly exhausted. Like, 1st trimester pregnancy, yeah, that's a joke. I was like exhausted beyond exhaustion the entire pregnancy. And but we survived, right? We made it. And that's because I streamlined things, and my husband helped, and I did different things to help. And I was delivering flowers, so I was 36 weeks pregnant, and it was hard. And I know there's a lot of you out there with small children, and it just seems just like almost impossible or insurmountable or really hard. And it is really hard. And it doesn't mean it's bad. And it also doesn't mean it's going to last forever. I'm not as exhausted anymore as I was that summer, right? And again, I don't do it all. I don't do any Christmas wreaths or Christmas workshops, or I don't do forcing tulips for Valentine's Day. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. I can't imagine that I will ever do anything like that. I started small, and then the same thing with like creating the course, my online course. I had to teach myself how to do that, and I spent a long time creating that course because I had wanted to create it the winter that I was after my baby was born in 2024, and then like from that winter to spring, and I got sick with mastitis and I was hospitalized. And that's just part of my story, is that I deal with chronic mastitis, and this wasn't the first time I'd been hospitalized, and it just really took a lot out of me. And it was March, and I knew I needed to focus on my farm, and so I put off finishing and launching my course for an entire year. And that was okay. Like, I'm okay with things taking longer because I have 5 children, and because my family comes first, and because sometimes I have to recover from an illness or something and be there for my kids at a really pivotal time when I had a 4-month-old and had been really sick. So, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't stress me out or bother me. And as soon as I was sick and in the hospital, I just knew that that wasn't going to happen. And that's okay. And I think I made a better course because of that, because I waited a year, because I spent the whole summer really thinking about how I was going to create the course in a better way than I had the prior summer, even though, it was something I had in mind, but it wasn't quite as thinking about it in the same way. So, it's just stuff like that. Anyway, so that's just kind of how I handle some of those things. I just don't try to be stressed that, oh, I can't do this. Sometimes you just have to say, this is the wrong season of life. And then that kind of brings me to the next stage. I know there's a lot of you out there that are moms with young children, homeschooling moms, grandmas that are watching your kids, and others, obviously. But I just want to speak for a moment to the moms of only young children. I have 5 children, yes, but I don't have 5 children under the age of 2. Right? Like, I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old who are very independent and very capable. My son, who's now 10, last summer, he was 9, washed like 98% of my buckets and did a really good job. And that was his job, right? Like, and I taught him how to do it, sure, but like, he took ownership of it, and he was like asking me, do you need me to wash buckets, Mom? And so they actually grow up to be capable children that you are training and working with. And that's kind of the whole point of the farm for us, or one of the points, is that we're training our children and working with them and giving them tasks and good things to cultivate and be a producer and not a consumer, and work through these things with them. And I've really seen the fruit of that, and it's taken a long time. You don't see the fruit of that when you have a 4-year-old, or you have 3 children, 3 and under. That is just a really intense season. And so if you're in that season, please just know that I've been there, and it was really intense. And there was a lot of seedling trays that got dumped over. And there was a lot of times where I felt like, why do I even try? Why am I even doing this? Why do we even plant things? Right? And so I really have been there. But you know what? Now I have really capable kids. I have a 9-year-old daughter that actually makes all of our bread, or she can. She doesn't make it all, but she's capable of making it. If I say, we need bread today, can you make bread this morning? She can make it just as fast as I can, and she puts it in the bread machine, and she knows what buttons to push, and she turns it on, right? Like, I now have children that are capable of clearing and wiping the table and making themselves sandwiches, and getting themselves snacks and water and that kind of stuff. But when you have children only under the age of 3, it is so hard. And so just realize it's a season. Give yourself grace. It can feel like a long season. I have felt that way. Like, it's a season. The days are long and the years are short. And sometimes I just feel like the days are just long. But I'm starting to see the end of that. And I still have 2 very small children. I still have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Like, those are not very big, capable kids, right? So, but my older children do also entertain and help my younger children now. Okay, so that's just something like that. And then there's seasons, right? So I do cook basically all of our own food. Yeah, the summer I was pregnant with my 5th baby, we ate frozen pizza every Friday night. We typically make pizza every Friday or Saturday. Yeah, that summer I didn't make it once. Now, my 9 and 10-year-old, first of all, we really love pizza and pizza night. And if I would dare to suggest that we eat frozen pizza, they would just be like, no, no, no. And they can make it totally, like, from making the dough to rolling out the pizza to putting on all the toppings and putting it in the oven. They can totally make the pizza from scratch without supervision. Like maybe they need help getting it out of the oven or something, but like they can make the entire pizza, and they are 9 and 10 years old. It's just they're kind of amazing. Like even I am sometimes like, oh wow. Okay, and then there's housework and laundry. It actually takes a lot of laundry to keep everybody, with clean underpants, relatively clean clothes. And to this, I just say, yeah, I try and do a load a day. I'm not perfect. Laundry is probably one of my like nemesises, I guess, a nemesis, and it's hard. It's hard, and sometimes I'm like, oh, there's laundry everywhere, or nobody has clean laundry. But I don't know. It's just something we have to work through and do it. Like nobody comes and does our laundry. It's got to get done. And so I do laundry. My kids will start to do laundry, but I'm the one in charge, right? Like I'm the manager. So like my daughter doesn't make bread just like, oh, we're out of bread, I should make bread. No, she'll make bread if I say, oh, we're out of bread, I need you to make bread, or oh, we need to start your laundry. And I probably could be better and have a better system, but it's just, it's hard. It is takes a lot. It takes, yeah, it's hard. It's not perfect. It can sometimes be really messy. And then that leads to my next thing is like keeping a clean house. I mean, I think we keep a relatively clean house. I wish I was more organized, and there's a constant level of decluttering that needs to happen when you have 7 people that live in your home and all the stuff that gets brought in. And I try. I'm not the greatest at it, but I do try. But I also just have to, like, what do I want? Do I want an immaculately clean house where I take toothbrushes and clean the baseboards? Or do I want to have a farm and live a life and go out to the lake on Friday nights once a month with our kids? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want? Like, I don't know, like having clean baseboards and like perfectly dusted homes is just not that important to me. I mean, I'm not saying we live in a pigsty, but there is not like this level of perfection in my home. I don't mop my kitchen floor every week. I also don't think you can see the dirt, so sweeping it is pretty sufficient. And you know what I mean? Like, I just am not meticulously spending hours and hours and hours cleaning my home, which I could literally just spend my entire time cleaning my house. I also try not to spend too much time on social media. You might notice I don't post a ton on Instagram. I kind of look at Instagram more for my florists, so I post there more during the season when I have flowers, but I just can't keep up with both. I can't do YouTube and post on Instagram and keep up with all the DMs. Like, I'm just only one person, and I don't spend tons of time on Facebook. And honestly, like my channel would grow better and I'd probably sell more courses if I spent 30 minutes, very intentionally in these large flower farming Facebook groups promoting my channel and different things. But I just don't always have the capacity to do that. I do that in a very small fraction, but that is like the bottom of my list. So yeah, I don't do a ton of stuff, and I try really, really hard not to scroll. Like when I teach and I do homeschool, I leave my phone upstairs in a drawer, and I don't even take it with me. And like, I have to focus. Like, we're focusing on school. Right now is school time. So I do kind of chunk out my day. So just really practically, my husband gets up really early for work, and I try to get up early with him or shortly after him. So I'm pretty much up by like 5:45. I get my coffee and do some reading. And then I have from like 6 till 7 or 7:30 where I'm working on my computer, working online, checking my email, creating something, whatever it might be, creating this webinar that I just did, or, creating content, something like that. So I pretty much have about an hour every day on my computer in the morning. And then not every day is the same. Right now it's obviously in the school year still, and we have our co-ops for a couple more weeks that we go to all day on Monday. But other than that, like, then it's like we go out and we milk our goats that we just got and that are just in milk now. And then we go do breakfast, and then we do school. And I try like until noon, we do that, and then we have lunch, and then I have some more time in the afternoon where I'm either outside working or doing work on my computer and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what it looks like. And then after that, then my husband's home, and we typically go outside, go for a walk, go for a run, go for a bike ride if it's nice, and cook dinner, eat dinner, so that's kind of like the rhythm of our days in the winter. And then in the summer, obviously we're not doing school, and then I do a lot of field work. It's just a lot of giving yourself grace and not getting stressed out about things that aren't worth getting stressed out about. I do a lot of research into something, and then I stop once I have an answer. Like I said, I'm not researching how to grow sunflowers or cosmos or zinnias, or I don't spend a ton of time on that anymore because I've researched it, I've come to a conclusion. And so I'm I'm a pretty analytical person by nature. And then once I've got an answer, I don't like second guess myself and feel like, oh, is that really the right decision? Or, oh, I really should think about that more. Or maybe this isn't the right thing. Or maybe this isn't the best thing. I don't know. It's just not really in my personality to do that. So I don't spend a lot of time, cycling through stuff like that. So I hope that this encourages you. Like, you don't have to do this alone. I don't have it all put together. We have struggles. My children bicker with each other, but I do still think that we can create beautiful farms and beautiful families and share that beauty with others around us. And I hope that this encourages you with just moving forward in your flower farm. I don't do it all. You just have to pick and choose what's important to you. And I hope that's helpful to you. And if you want to know how to daisy chain those row covers, you should check out this video. And I will see you in the next video.